Hi, my name is Eloise. In the last lesson, Cindy and Gerard joined us in looking at an area problem involving housing. Once again, they're back with us as we continue to look for an answer using geometry. Maybe you can bring us up to speed on what's happened so far.
Sure. The problem is that these property developers need 4 pieces of land to look onto the river and have direct access to the road. They also want each plot to have the same area. So we suggested changing the rectangular shapes of the plots to parallelograms to achieve this.
But we found that we couldn't guarantee the area of the plots would all still be the same. So after investigating a few rectangles and parallelograms, we arrived at a conjecture about the areas of these shapes. And this was our conjecture.
If a rectangle and a parallelogram have the same base and are between the same parallel lines, then their areas are equal. Our conjecture was pretty convincing, but we didn't actually prove it. We need to prove that all the buyers are getting the same area of land and that they're all getting the same share of the rivers and the roads.
Well done, guys. I couldn't have put it better myself. In this lesson, we need to find ways to prove that this conjecture will always be true. In other words, no matter what the size of the base and no matter how far apart the parallel lines are in the rectangle and the parallelogram, the conjecture about areas still works. By the end of this lesson, you should be able to state and prove a theorem about the areas of shapes with the same base and between parallel lines, and write down the proof in different ways. So guys, how would you go about proving this theorem? Remember, a good proof needs to be planned first. Also, you need to decide whether to use Euclidean geometry, coordinate geometry, or transformation geometry for your proof.
Wow, that's a lot to think about, but I think we should use coordinate geometry.
I'll go with that. Let's draw what we want first.
Good idea. We must draw up the rectangle and the parallelogram on the Cartesian plane. We can put them on the same base, lying on the x-axis. They must also lie between the same parallel lines.
So this side of the rectangle lies on the y-axis.
I guess we need to label the vertices. So let's call the rectangle M, N, P, Q. And the parallelogram can be P, Q, R, S.
Excellent start, guys. You've created a clear diagram that will help you with your proof. And putting the shapes onto the x and y axes will make your calculations easier.
Do we know what the coordinates of these vertices are? Because we'll need them.
Point Q is the origin, so that's 0, 0. Point M has an x value of 0. Let's call the y value over here B.
What about point P? It has a y value of 0. Let's call the x value A. Now for the last corner of the rectangle, point N has the same x value as point P, and it has the same y value as M. So its coordinates must be AB.
Hey G, I'm impressed, but what about the other 2 points for the parallelogram?
No problem. Point S must have a y value of B. And we can give it an x value of, let's say, C. Point R will also have a y value of B. And we can give it an x value of D.
Good thinking, Gerard. It's a good idea to use A, B, C, and D for the values of the coordinates. If you'd used numbers, then whatever you prove would only be true for the one size of parallelogram and rectangle that you used.
Okay, now to find the area of each shape. First, the rectangle MNPQ. The area is base times height. We need the base PQ and the height MQ.
So for PQ, we need the distance from the origin to P. So do you think we should use the distance formula?
Don't think so, because we started at the origin. The x value at Q is 0. And since the x value at P is A, the length of PQ is just A units.
Now I'm the one who's impressed. So what we need now is the height MQ. Hey, I see it. M has a y value of B. The y is 0 at q, so mq must have a length of b units.
So the area for rectangle MNPQ is A times B.
Now let's do the parallelogram. The area of the parallelogram is base times height. The base is the same as for the rectangle. It's PQ, so that's A units. But what's the height of the parallelogram?
Also easy. Look, it's the distance NP, and that is the same as MQ on the rectangle, so that is B units.
Okay, so the area of parallelogram PQRS is also A times B.
That's it. So we've proved that the areas of the parallelogram and the rectangle are equal.
You've done well, guys. Using coordinate geometry, you've proved that the areas of any rectangle and parallelogram that have the same base and are between the same parallel lines are equal. Now all you have to do is write down your proof. Remember, in a paragraph proof, you simply describe what you did with clear sentences.
Okay, Gerard, you run through what we've done, and then I'll write as you speak.
Great stuff, guys. And while you do that, I'm going to take your ideas to show how we can use them for a different proof. But this time we won't work on the Cartesian plane. We can take the same shapes and move them off the Cartesian plane. So we have parallelogram PQRS and rectangle MNPQ. Both share the same base PQ, and both are still between the same parallel lines. Our endpoint or goal is to prove that the area of parallelogram PQRS is equal to the area of rectangle MNPQ. Remember, we want this proof to work for any base and any height as we did on the Cartesian plane. So we haven't used specific numbers for any of the sides of the shapes. The area of the rectangle will be the base PQ times the height MQ. I will put that in a box of the flowchart like this. The area of the parallelogram PQRS will be the base PQ times the height, which is also MQ. So we get PQ times MQ here equals PQ times MQ here. So the area of the two shapes is the same. Simple. Now I have a flowchart with 3 steps that clearly show the reasoning in the proof. So we found 2 different ways of writing down the proof. The first one uses coordinate geometry and a paragraph proof. And the one I've just done uses Euclidean geometry and a flowchart proof. But there's still one more method of writing down this proof. This kind of proof is probably one you've seen before. It's the formal Euclidean proof. A formal or traditional Euclidean proof is very similar to a flowchart proof. We just remove the boxes and arrows and write everything out in lines, one under each other. Because we've removed the arrows, we replace them with words. So let's use the flowchart proof we've just made and create our Euclidean proof from it. We can also use the same diagram of the parallelogram and the rectangle. The first line of any Euclidean proof tells us what we already have. So we write down given and then describe what is known at the start of the proof. We know that we have a parallelogram PQRS and a rectangle MNPQ on base PQ between parallel lines MS and PQ. If you have a good statement under given, you should be able to create the diagram using that given statement. In our next line, we want to know what it is that we must prove. We want to know what the end point is. So we write required to prove. In this case, what we want to prove is that area of PQRS equals area of MNPQ. Now let's look at the flowchart proof again. I put these 2 boxes on the same line because these statements can be put down at the same time. One doesn't lead to the other. In the Euclidean proof, it doesn't matter which one of these you put first. So we can write proof area of parallelogram PQRS equals PQ times NP. And the reason in brackets after it, which is that the area of a parallelogram is base times height. Then, under that, we write the next line, which is the area of rectangle MNPQ equals PQ times NP, and the reason in brackets after it, which is the area of a rectangle is base times height. In the next line, both boxes have arrows pointing to them. It shows that the area from each box is the same. PQ times NP is equal to PQ times NP. It helps to put this step in so that what is equal is very clear. So we write it on the next line. Notice this next arrow. This arrow means that these statements above lead to this statement. This line is a conclusion based on these two lines. In the Euclidean proof, instead of the arrow, we can use the word therefore. The word therefore in maths shows that this is not something that has been given. It is something that has been worked out from the previous few statements. And we write therefore like this. So we have therefore area of parallelogram PQRS equals area of rectangle MNPQ. And that's it. Let's look at how similar the Euclidean proof is to the flowchart proof. See how everything in the boxes is the same as the lines written in the Euclidean proof. And the reasons for every statement have been given. The difference is that each statement is written on its own line in the Euclidean proof, and we use key words like therefore instead of arrow symbols. In this lesson, we have proved an area theorem in different ways using coordinate geometry and Euclidean geometry. And we have written down our proofs in 3 ways: using a paragraph proof, a flowchart proof, and a formal Euclidean proof. Guys, how did you get on with writing out your paragraph proof?
We're finished.
Great. Well, now that we have 3 excellent proofs, I think we can return to the developers with our findings. We can tell them that they can make parallelogram-shaped plots instead of rectangular plots. And we've shown that changing the shape of the plots still gives the same amount of land for each plot.
Can I give them the good news?
You'll have to sort that out with Cindy. Now, for you guys out there, you should be able to use these ideas to work with proofs about the areas of triangles. Make a conjecture about triangles on the same base and between the same parallel lines. Prove your conjecture and write down the proof in 2 different ways. Here's a diagram that can help you with your proof. Well, that's it for today. Until next time, it's goodbye from all of us.